Welcome to this episode of our program Arab Affairs. As usual, we will be discussing an Arab affair. Today we'll be focusing on the recent developments in the Palestinian occupied lands. Egypt has already denounced the storming of the Israeli occupation forces to the Palestinian neighborhood city in the West Bank, warning of the dangerous and continued escalation witnessed by the Israeli forces and by Israel in the Palestinian lands. The statement by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that Egypt condemns the storming of the Palestinian city, which has caused the death of 11 Palestinian victims and the injury of 100 others. The Israeli forces have already been blamed by bloody escalation in the Palestinian occupied territories, the West Bank and Gaza Strip over the past month, including a deadly rain on the Jenin camp that killed 9 Palestinians and injured hundreds others. The raid in the West Bank over the past months have claimed the lives of around 200 Palestinians and led to the arrest of at least 2,600 others. This is according to world reports. Shortly after the Jenin raids, a Palestinian man opened fire outside a synagogue in Jerusalem that led to the killing of 7 Israelis. If this was a main cause for escalation, we're speaking about an Israeli escalation that has no justified issue or that has not been justified, but that has started since the occupation or the new Israeli government assumed office. We'll be speaking about that in our episode tonight. Before we delve into our discussion, let me first have a quick piece of news that just occurred. And Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Hanafi El-Gibeli, addressed the 34th Conference of the Arab Interparliamentary Union in Iraq capital Baghdad on the Arab support to boost Iraq's stability and sovereignty. El-Gibeli said that the Arabs are witnessing huge challenges during this period that threatened the security and stability of Arab societies and hence the whole Arab world at large. He stressed that these challenges proved the need of Arab unity in facing them. He pointed that Egypt has put a comprehensive vision to preserve the Arab countries from chaos and protect their unity, stressing Egypt's complete rejection of any foreign intervention in the Iraqi affairs or any Arab country's affairs. El-Gibeli said that Iraq has witnessed, or rather withstood, a lot of threats, but that the Iraqi people faced them with courage. He underscored that Egypt has always supported Iraq on all levels, considered as one of the pillars of the Arab stability and security. Moving on to another piece of news, in Egypt welcomed new constitutional amendment declaration of the House of Representatives in Libya. Egypt welcomed on Friday the approval by the Libyan House of Representatives of the 13th constitutional amendment, describing it as an important step to hold parliamentary and presidential elections in Libya. According to a statement released by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the amendment, which was approved on Friday, marks an important step in fulfilling the necessary frameworks to hold the Libyan presidential and parliamentary elections simultaneously and as soon as possible under the supervision of a neutral executive authority that upholds the supreme interests of the Libyan state. The statement added that Egypt is looking forward to seeing the Libyan House of Representatives and Council of State completing their efforts in preparing electoral laws. The Foreign Ministry reiterated Egypt's full support for the Libyan process, praising the efforts of the House of Representatives, the only elected legislative body in Libya, and the High Council of State. The statement also stressed Egypt's rejection of any external dictates on the Libyans or circumventing the role of the Libyan institutions in accordance with the Sukhayrat Agreement. Egypt also called on all involved parties to adhere to these irreplaceable foundations and determinants. The Foreign Ministry also stressed the need to stop external interference in Libya and the exit of all foreign forces. It reiterated Egypt's full support for the relevant mission of the 5+5 Joint Military Committee in order to ensure and emphasize the sovereignty and stability of Libya. On Thursday, the Libyan House of Representatives in Benghazi approved the 13th Amendment of the Libyan Constitution Declaration that was published in the Libyan State's official gazette on the same day. We move on now to our episode and our topic, but before we start with our discussion, let's first have a quick look on the Arab news that took place during this week, and we'll come back for more discussion.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi sent congratulatory cables to Saudi Arabia's King Salman bin Abdulaziz and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on the occasion of the Saudi Founding Day. President el-Sisi expressed best wishes for Saudi Arabia and stressed the depth of the historical relations between the two countries and the two peoples. The President also wished Saudi Arabia more progress, success and prosperity. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli praised Egyptian-Saudi relations and hailed the role of Saudi Al Mara'i Company in the food industrial sector in Egypt. The Prime Minister remarks came during his meeting with Chairman of the Board of Directors of Al Mara'i Company, Prince Naif bin Sultan. Madbouli said the next stage would witness new investments in Egypt, adding that the cabinet would support all investors. The Premier affirmed Egypt's support to the expansion plans of the Saudi company in the Egyptian market. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry stressed the importance of enhancing cooperation with Morocco, particularly in the parliamentary field. Shoukry made these remarks as he met Speaker of the Moroccan House of Councillor In'am Mayara on the most challenges facing the region, elaborating Egypt's vision for achieving development. The top Moroccan lawmaker, meanwhile, expressed his country's keen interest in cooperating with Egypt in the framework of the African Union regulations, asserting support for Egypt's water rights. And upon directives of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, two military planes loaded with a huge amount of medical and food aid and a supplying ship carrying food substances and other aid and relief items arrived in Turkey. Earlier, an Egyptian Navy supplies ship loaded with hundreds of tons of humanitarian aid arrived at Saudi's Lataka port. The aid helps in rescue and support operations for victims of the devastating earthquake that rocked both Syria and Turkey 2 weeks ago. Presidency spokesman Ahmed Fahmy said the gesture is out of solidarity with Syria and Turkey and their peoples in the painful disaster. In the meantime, the Egyptian Red Crescent said it dispatched 200 tons of relief supplies in urgent aid to the Syrian people as a first batch of aid. A statement said the aid that was delivered to the Syrian Red Crescent was presented by the Egyptian people, who rushed to provide donations soon after the Feb 6th earthquake. It added that 2 more aid convoys are under preparations and will be sent in coordination with the Syrian Red Crescent. And the United Nations has said it will scale up aid deliveries to Syria's northwest in coming days to help millions affected by this month's catastrophic earthquake. It said the planned increase in aid trucks to 40 per day was still inadequate for tackling the region's humanitarian crisis, with medical supplies to combat disease, as well as more food and temporary shelters urgently needed. More than 280 trucks have crossed the Turkish border into southwestern Syria since aid operations resumed on February 9th, 3 days after the quake. The disaster has so far killed more than 6,000 people there.